Hey everyone, Grant here. In this lesson, I'll be introducing you to our Content Planner, a simple but powerful tool that helps you manage your content creation system and stay organized. This is actually the exact same system that we use in our own businesses. It keeps all of the content running smoothly in terms of production, editing, and publishing, and I'm sure you're going to find it a ton of help. So basically, there's three main sections: plan, create, over here, and publish over here, which go through each of the steps for each of those sections. So the first thing you're going to do when using this sheet is copy over the keywords that we found in the previous module. So for example, we found, remember we can search and filter views, low competition, commercial keywords, for example. And then we can see, okay, this is a good one, best deer hunting rifle. And we can paste it in here. We can also find other ones, like here's some other ones from the list as well: where to shoot a deer, deer hunting tips, etc. Next, what you're going to do is select the type of post it's going to be. So we have several different types here: Q&A, list, post, product roundup, how-to, etc. We also have resources guiding you through each of those post types and how to do them in the resources section of this course and in this module. So for example, I just picked product roundup for best deer hunting rifle, right? It's a good post for a product roundup. List post for deer hunting tips, Q&A post, for where to shoot a deer. Next thing you're going to do is take the combination of these two columns to make the article title. So we have a title swipe file also in the resources section to help you create the titles. Basically, it's a combination of these the information from these two columns. And you can also use this first column here to track your progress for each article, because like we mentioned before in this course, you're probably going to be ordering many articles at once, and so this can help you keep track of everything to see the status, even if you've got 50 articles at once, right? Maybe 20 will be done, 10 will be on Asana, and the other 20 might be in progress. So done means it's published, in progress means it's in progress, and Asana is in reference to our project management software that we use, which I'll be going through in a second, so don't worry if you're not familiar with it. And it also works with a variety of types of project management software as well, so if you use Basecamp or Trello or what have you, that's fine as well. Another cool thing you can do is to go to the settings and add in additional settings in those tabs if you'd like, just to give you additional options. But as you get started, it's best to keep things simple, as we've got a pretty comprehensive initial list of things. But for example, once you have your writer names, you can put them in here, etc. The next thing we have is the create series of columns. So here you're going to be assigning the writer. So you, as we mentioned before, you'll probably have several writers who are writing for you in the long term. So here you can assign to the right person. And again, you can go to settings and actually change the names there. So for example, this one's for Rose. And then once the article's finished, here's the link to the finalized document in Google Drive. We also recommend putting in the word count and the cost to keep track of things, right? It's a good way to keep track of your costs, and also the length of the post, so you can use this information later when we're evaluating how effective our articles are. Next up, we have the publish section of this spreadsheet. So here's where you're going to put the intended publication date. You're going to choose your SEO, your meta title for SEO, your meta description for SEO. And remember, the character limits here are 60 characters for the title, 160 characters for the meta description, and you're going to be filling this out. And one of the cool things you can do, by the way, is have all of this filled out on the spreadsheet and then have a VA go through and actually publish all the posts for you over time, just taking care of all the back-end stuff, so you can even stay out of WordPress and focus on the higher level business things. So that's pretty cool as well. Okay, so now we have a couple final columns here to go through. So for example, length for both of these sections, it actually automatically calculates the character length of your meta title for this length column and the meta description for this length column. So it lets you know if you go over the limit. So for example, if you add in a couple extra random letters. Boom, it turns red, letting you know this is too long. It's not ideal. So take away a couple of those letters, and then boom, it's 59. It'll all show it's a good length. We also have the WordPress categories column and the WordPress tags, and also this one last column, date published. So we have two date published columns. This one's the intended publication date. This one's the date it actually gets published, which should be updated by your VA as they go through and do all these things. With regards to the WordPress categories and tags, we've talked about how to use those as well. And you're going to want to plan all of that ahead. And you can, again, go to the settings and set that all up ahead of time in terms of your categories and whatnot. And then just choose from them and go through and remember the best practices of how to set categories and tags. And then your VA can just go through and execute on all of this. And it's also really easy to do this all at once and plan it all ahead of time, because if you think about traditional blog writing and publishing, like if you write a blog post once a week and it's sort of, you don't even look at it except once per week, say every Sunday, and it's not on a spreadsheet, you're just in WordPress writing, it can be really hard to remember, like, wait, what were the categories that I used again? Have I had too many in one category and not the other? What am I supposed to do with the WordPress tags? What's the length of the SEO meta title? It's hard to keep track of all of that. And so this spreadsheet goes a long way to keeping you super organized and optimizing everything. So this is enough for you and maybe a single VA, right? This is a pretty comprehensive spreadsheet, but what if you want to scale your operations and have, like the entire team of people that are going through things? Because this is more designed for personal use. So what if you want to work with a larger team longer term? First off, you can use Google Drive or Dropbox folders. We're using Google Drive here. We're going to walk you through how we have this set up. So when you want to organize everything that you're creating, because remember we have Google document links in the spreadsheet, so you can create a folder for the site as a whole and have a folder called production as a subfolder, right? And then within that production folder, you're going to have a long series of folders which are for the actual articles that you're writing. And you should use this format as you title them. And then if you open it up, here's the actual article used. So your article should be in here, your custom images should be in here, your content brief should be in here. This is where all the information with regards to this article should be. So as you can imagine, as this might get into the thousands of articles, well, it makes it a lot easier to have this kind of organization system set up, especially as you scale quite large. If things are all over the place, haphazardly saved in Microsoft document folders on your desktop and what have you, it can be a nightmare long term to keep things organized. So this will go a long way in keeping you organized and efficient. There's one more piece that we should talk about as well, which is in Asana. So Asana is a project management software that, this is our favorite one. There's actually several different options for project management software. Again, this will work for things like Trello or Basecamp or what have you, but our favorite's Asana, so that's what we're going to walk you through. And this is also, by the way, the real life Asana project for the actual website. So you create projects here, you click create new project, etc. As you go in and create these, but we've already got this real life one that we're going to be walking you through. Essentially, the intention here is to help you organize the actual tasks surrounding all of the documents, so everybody knows who should be doing what. Now, when you create this, you should create two sections, one called backlog and one called work in progress. Now, if you want to move things around, it's super simple. You just literally click and drag. And you should also, to make things really simple and preventing duplicate work, create a task template, which this is an example right here. So it's got all the information that we need, all the different steps, and this is used as a template, and we can make a copy of this and then just fill in the details for each single one rather than rewriting all of this for every single task. So specifically, you can see that this actually has each specific task that needs to happen for every single article. So entering the main keyword, entering the secondary keyword, and doing the research on the competition, updating the post type, article title, etc. Goes through every single step that you need to do. And if you want to copy it, all you have to do is click on the ... and make a copy. And then you can retitle it and adjust the settings as necessary. So let's actually make an actual copy. So again, we have an example here. Let's say it's going to be T001. Change the title to T001, your very first article. And that's the title. And let's keep all that the same. Create new task. It'll take a second to update, but when it does, it'll give us all these tasks and prompts to find all of this information for that new article. And then you or your VA can go through the process of executing each mostly small steps, right? There's just a lot of little small things that you don't want to forget. Like, you don't want to forget about the keyword research. You don't want to forget about reviewing and approving the draft. You don't want to forget about the content brief. There's little small steps it's easy to forget without this kind of structure. So we've got this new task here, and then now the same tasks are here. You can go through and assign the task as a whole. You can go through and assign the due date of when it should be published. You can fill out all this information. You can even assign subtasks. So there's lots of little steps. So let's say this has to happen by today. The next one has to happen by tomorrow, etc. And also who should do each part. So it makes it super, super simple to organize all of this so everybody knows exactly when things should be done, who should be doing what, and the kinds of information and tasks that need to be completed. So there's a little bit of work to setting this kind of system up, but I highly encourage you to use this kind of setup because it saves you so much time and headache and prevents mistakes and makes things more efficient, which will enable you to grow and scale your business that much larger, that much faster. So I hope you've learned a ton of useful information today. I know my life got a lot easier when I started using things like Asana and these kinds of systems in my own business. It's such a headache before doing this kind of stuff. So really pro tip here. I hope you take us up on it and follow the templates we just guided you through, and I'll see you in the next lesson.